That could be on it.
It could be on it, so let's take a look here.
We should really talk to Pickle and ask him what's going to be on it, and then only show us those. Have you thought of that one?
There's no more time. This is it.
What is this? What are we looking at?
Now, let me show you what we're looking at here real quick. There it is. So when you look at it, it's going to be blown up about like this. And ignore those black spots. So what we're looking at is that right there.
Oh, nice point.
Okay? What is it?
Fancy.
You have any idea what that is?
No.
Negative.
So let's talk about it. What kind of tissue is this? Here's the basal membrane. Here's the apical surface. The top is keratinized. So what kind of tissue is it? Anybody? That's right. So this is stratified squamous, and this is a Pacini corpuscle, or a tactile corpuscle. That is one of the options that could be on your test. So remember, if you see something that shows stratified squamous with the, generally with the keratinized corneum, and you'll see that you'll follow the lamina, and all of a sudden the lamina has this, what appears to be an extension, that literally is a corpuscle. It is a neurological corpuscle called Pacini. You can call it either a tactile corpuscle or a Pacini corpuscle. What else do we have?
What is that? What would we say if it said, like, what kind of slide is this?
Well, if it says ID, well, they're not going to ask that because
Like
if they were.
tissue or like?
If they were going to say ID this item, then you put down tactile corpuscle. But just for your own benefit, look to see if it's stratified squamous first.
Is tactile corpuscle the same as renal corpuscle?
I have no idea what
Yeah,
that
what would
means.
that-
Like, what is that? I thought it was just me, so I'm like, I'm not gonna ask with all these people. What the hell was that?
Okay, so
Can you
I'll ask.
please tell us?
Is that the same as renal corpuscle?
No.
Okay.
What slide
Remember a
was that?
tactile corpuscle? Yeah, it's a touch receptor.
Okay.
The skin?
Yeah, the skin.
Oh.
All right, now, let me see. Anytime you see anything like, oh, here's a better view, actually.
Oh,
I know that. It's an
ovary.
The question would say ID organ, and you're going to say ovary because of the follicles. Now, they could ask you for different things. They could ask you to ID, what is the structure that's around here called?
Oh.
That's the corona radiata. Remember the corona radiata?
What structure?
Tertiary.
I was looking down.
The structure right here. So this red that goes actually around the oocyte is called the corona radiata. There's the oocyte. What about this over here? Is this a primary, secondary, or tertiary?
Tertiary.
Mature.
Commonly referred to as what?
Mature?
Do you remember the word called Graafian follicle? You guys remember that? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
So this is your Graafian follicle or your tertiary. This is the oocyte. There's a corona radiata. This is ready to be expelled one of these days. What about this down here? What's that?
That's a secondary. No, that's a primary.
What follicle is that? Well, let me ask you a question. Does this area here look similar to that area there?
Yeah.
Very similar. The only thing that's different is the size of the follicle.
Right.
So this actually is a initial tertiary follicle that's being expanded. How about this over here?
I'm not answering anymore.
Secondary.
Okay, what does a primary look like?
With nothing. Oh, the one to the right?
How about this? All right, primary, secondary, tertiary.
Okay.
Now let me show you one more that they could add in here. Let's see if you can see it.
Primordial.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so they have these down here, right there,
Where?
right there.
Premortal.
That is a premortal.
Premortal.
All right. So again, ID organ, ovary, and then it gives ID specific item, whatever they're pointing at. So it could be either primordial, primary, secondary, tertiary. It could be corona radiata. It could be primary oocyte or secondary oocyte.
What was the primordial one? Show it later.
What is this? Now this is one you haven't seen either, but I wanted you to kind of get an idea of where it goes.
With the video, I don't know how.
All right. Now, when you look at any kind of a slide, and especially something like this,
Sorry, quick question.
Oh,
Did
yes.
you see a book when you left class? Matt
Oh.
left it here.
Yeah,
Yes.
that guy who asked a lot of questions picked it up.
Peter,
Yeah.
Peter?
Yeah. And
Okay.
he said it was that other guy.
It is. It's Matt's. Thank you. Okay, great.
so when you look at anything like this, and anytime you see purple stain, you always think lymph first. Okay, purple stain. Like you have purple stain in the spleen, which is white pulp. It's just lymphatic tissue. Okay, and all this right through here is lymph tissue. If they were going to ask you, and what you don't see is a lot of the red, so this is not the spleen, and you see all these weird structures, these mosaic-looking colors, these are all concentrations of what they call germinal lymph tissue throughout what's called a lymph gland. So this is a lymph gland, not a node, but a gland. So whenever you see these purple structures, just think about Peyer's patches. What does Peyer's patches look like? Purple stained lymphatic tissue in the submucosa of the ileum. These are all the same type of tissue. Anything is purple, it's going to be lymph something.
So would that be like a tonsil, or what would that be?
So
Yeah,
is
that
it-
could be a tonsil.
So would
exactly.
you idea it just as lymph, or would you idea
You'd want to put down lymph gland.
gland?
That way you don't have to say which one.
Lymph gland for the last one. She's talking to herself. Lymphatic valve.
All right, so what are we looking at here? So
I'm sorry.
it says identify organ. What would you say?
Lymphatic valve.
Lymph vessel.
Lymph vessel.
That's the organ, and they would be pointing right at the V valve. See where the V valve is? So the V is right here. See that?
25 of those.
Has everybody got that? That's an easy one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
1 out of 20. There's 2 points. We're getting it.
Okay.
How many stations?
I thought you were like saying
How many what?
How many stations are going to be slides?
100.
You know, I heard that it was that 50 points were going to be histology, and that'd be 25 stations.
That's like worse than the first
So
test.
I don't think it's going to be that much, but the fact that I heard this from Pickle students, and it's just good to kind of review all the possibilities, even if it's only like 5 or 10 stations. That's still a lot of points.
That's a lot of stations filled with slides.
I need to like AAA the lecture.
All right, let me back off here a little. All right, okay, so here we go. Now, let's take a quick look at this. So let's say you were looking at this. Do you see anything purple?
Yes.
All right, so we know that this has got to be something to do with the lymphatic system. But you see purple surrounded by a bunch of red. So what does that mean? White and red pulp. The red pulp surrounds the purple, which is the white pulp. In fact, right in the center of the white pulp is a vascular structure. But you can see all the red. You've got purple up there, purple there, and purple there.
Use your little lighty
So
thingy.
besides red and white pulp, are there any other items that they want ID'd?
Yeah, like, let's say they said identify organ. You know this is going to be the spleen because it's white and red pulp. They could be pointing right here, you'd say white pulp. They could be pointing over here, you'd say red pulp.
No other items in there that?
Nope.
No, nothing significant that they're going to test you on.
Okay.
What is this? I'll come back to that. That's a good one. This is one I don't think you've seen either. Very much of it, at least.
Build up.
It's not generally one of his favorites, but never know. There we go. All right, now, you guys seen this before?
No.
Negative.
It kind of looks like it could be digestive in nature because of the possible microvilli coming off. But does that look like any normal microvilli?
It's up.
Microvilli generally are not connected like this. They're not. They're always just coming off into actually. Like they all kind of look like that. They're never connected, like all these are. Plus these are muscular layers in here. The stomach actually is nowhere near this erratic. It's usually very flat with deep gastric pits. This is something you haven't seen before, I don't think. This is the gallbladder.
Gallbladder.
What you look at, to separate this from the others, is you're gonna find that, see these little projections here? If it's gonna be intestines, these projections are gonna be all kind of lined up like this, very long. The plicae are gonna be really long. If it's stomach, it's gonna have a nice, somewhat nice flat surface with very deep gastric pits, very similar to the colon, but not this erratic. When you have encased structures like these, that's going to be found only in the gallbladder.